I don't feel like being completely down on myself. So let's talk about the women's basketball. This is just the overview for at least 2025 edition because 2026 is a whole other deal. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but this one is for the women's basketball because this is the one that is the most disappointing one, which you may think, wow, considering the record, it shouldn't be, but we'll get to that later, especially, considering that. But first game was pretty obviously a tune-up game, if you will. Um, it was Northwestern State, and we kicked the shit out of them, 103 to 46. I don't have I decided to not go with much detail because fuck you, I don't really care. But yeah, Northwestern State was pretty overmatched, pretty dominant throughout, except for that weird third quarter where we kind of just didn't show up. But overall, could be worse. But we move on because then our next game is against Samford, who is equally as mid. But okay, you know what? It happens. Maybe they can put up a fight. What did you think? No, they lost. Obviously, Nebraska was able to get the easy and free win, except for the second quarter. We played the first quarter, best first quarter of our lives, and then crapped the bed. Just it's a theme with basketball, but who cares? But our next big test is Creighton. Now, Creighton has obviously been a historically pretty good basketball team. This year, though, they lost to South Dakota State, but they beat Drake at Drake, so, they have a little momentum. It didn't matter, though, because they got shit on real bad. First quarter was, just Nebraska being good, but, I was waiting for the ball to drop, and then the second quarter was pretty good. Third and fourth quarter was mediocre, competitive, and able to win. Good job. And we don't even have our best players out there. Surely they'll come back from injury. Foreshadowing. But obviously, can't have a good game without following it up with a layup. This one was a part of the neutral court series that we have at the Sanford Pentagon. The men's basketball team plays a good team, and the women's basketball team plays some mediocre garbage. What do you know? That mediocre garbage actually put up a pretty goddamn good fight. First quarter, not great. Second quarter, a little better. Third quarter, Jesus. Fourth quarter, we got the win. By far the most unconvincing game. And what do you know? We got yet another team that is not good and from the same goddamn conference. This time it goes a little better, 103-58. Wow, you scored 103 again, but Oral Roberts is about 12 points better. Not in that first quarter. First quarter was, the best, and then obviously they had to take the rest of the three quarters relatively off. They still won all of them, but that fourth quarter, Brett Prince had 30, so, that's pretty good. Yeah, we still don't have our best players, but who cares? But now we head on to Florida. We, for some reason, are playing in some tournament that also features Northwestern State. So if we lost against this next team, we would not. But Purdue Fort Wayne, they got some hands. They're doing pretty well. They got a decent record. I think they're currently in the contention for one of the better, conference teams in the Horizon League. They beat Purdue, which I don't really like it's Purdue. I was watching that game. I'm like, damn, it's pretty impressive, even if they're on home court. Damn. But no, they were mildly competitive. Yeah, that first and second quarter. First quarter was not great. Second quarter was meh. Third quarter was bleh. Fourth quarter was just a knockout blow. Unfortunately, we're just not blowing out teams as much, but this is one of the better Horizon League teams that we could play, so could be worse. But obviously, there's another game. This one, it is Virginia. Virginia is, well, they're not their men's basketball team, but they're somewhat competent at this time. They have only lost to right, yeah, I forgot. They lost to UMBC. I think the PTSD of 2017 was definitely taking hold, and UMBC just was able to win because they won every other game. Although they didn't blow out Northwestern State as much. They only won 69-48, so logic is we win by 9. Obviously, not the best performance, and they definitely came back in the fourth quarter. We were up 20, and no, we were up 19, and then we only won by 9. So not great. Not great when you're trying to actually put away teams. But this is around the time where we still were not getting any votes. Are you surprised? No. Who cares about that anyway? But up next, we got Bradley, and this is the game. We take a week off, and then this is the game just before our actual first conference game. It's against Bradley, who's I mean, they're another Missouri Valley team. Well, they're a Missouri Valley team, and they've won every game since. But yeah, they should be a little. They were not a little better. Not really much else to comment on other than it was close in the first quarter. But now we head to our real tests. Not an actual conference play, but it's on the road. It's our first actual road game all season. It only took until December 6th. Yeah, there's a theme with Nebraska basketball, and it's scheduling a lot of easy games. Just gotta get that non-con victory list going. But we got Penn State. Now, early in the season, I was told that Penn State would be a very fiery, hot offensive team, which, to be fair, they were. They put up, good stats, and, they put up at least 80 points in every game. And their only loss was to Princeton, which you may laugh at, but they're actually ranked number 25 now. Which is certainly higher than a bunch of other teams, and actually beat Rutgers, so lol. Not perfect against Big Ten teams, though. So, obviously, in Happy Valley or whatever, we smoke them 101-83. It was close. That second quarter and the start of that third quarter was the most abysmal thing I've ever seen. But then we started hitting everything, and that was the second half to remember, and we got 101 fucking points. So, yes. Every fourth game, we were able to, one out of every 4 games, we were able to get 100 points. And this offense was going on some sort of, good torrid streak or whatever, but that is buoyed up by the fact that we have 2 games that just hit 80 and 2 other ones that were within 5. Apparently that's some historic streak. But, then there's, our next opponent is Omaha, who just today lost to Kansas City by 2. Kansas City, like Omaha, did not have a single Division I win beforehand. So it was obvious that they could not score worth the shit. Well, that's what you think. That first quarter was something, alright? We spotted them a 10-3 lead. Yes, a 10-3 lead. We had to take a timeout in this game to stop the opposing team's run in a game that we won by 52. Yeah, the performance by Omaha was not great in those second, third, and fourth quarter, but it was kind of like our bowl game where Nebraska put up a fight in the first and then never else. Yeah. It's hard to commentate on the individual performance of all the players when we still don't have everyone. But, it's only December 9th. They'll come back eventually. Plus, we only just have some cannon fodder left. First up, Illinois State. Ooh, yeah. Again, a historic first quarter. Only allowed 2 points. That's pretty good. Followed up by 19-19 in the second quarter. just can't be consistent, man. But whatever. It's fine. It's still a win. It's 11-0. Since that, we were able to get ranked in that by that Omaha game. I think I forgot to mention, not even at 25, but at 24. So that's great. But now we have Cal Baptist, and this is where things started to go horrifically wrong. You may look at that score and go, "Hey, they won by 31. That's nice." Well, just like the certain men's basketball game that just happened, it's a bit deceiving. That first quarter was fucking garbage. 19-7, 19-8. They were only up 3 against a team that was 500. 500, and it was currently sitting on a 5-game losing streak. This team lost to Denver. Yeah, it was at Denver, but is Denver. Nobody ever thinks of Denver. They're the team that buoys themselves up with with lower division opponent wins. All right, Cal Baptist does not have one of those. What the fuck, man? And this is where I start to think, it'd be really nice if we had some of our, better players. Potts. I know she suffered a season-ending injury last year, but where the fuck is she? I see her sitting on the sideline, but I don't see her out on the court. It'd be really nice because next week, the next game, we have USC. And yes, I do mean the full next week because it's in the 21st to the 29th. Wow, that is a ton of time in between, and that's kind of the theme because we don't schedule too many games in this late of December, which I think is a little stupid, but whatever. That is exactly where the troubles bite us in the fucking ass. We lose. We drop our first game against USC at home. Now, obviously, USC historically is a better program. That's just a given. But they have, some pretty mediocre wins. Their one top 10 win against North Carolina State. At North Carolina State. That sounds impressive, right? You got to remember, North Carolina State is now unranked, which I feel it's a little bit harsh. I mean, I know they lost to TCU and Rhode Island, but to be completely kicked out of the rankings after they got kicked out of the rankings even after beating Southern Miss 110-56. Oh, that's the real show to that, but it's they weren't overly impressive. They have some good wins. They have some okay losses. But that performance was terrible. First quarter was about as much as you could expect. But there was one thing. And this was a problem a good amount of the year. We cannot rebound for the life of us. USC ended this game with, I gotta check my math correct. Well, first they ended with 8 blocks. That's just, unacceptable. They ended with 16 offensive rebounds. For reference, we had 10, which was mostly in the fourth quarter. Big yikes. We could not, for the life of us, stop them. And that showed in the second and third quarter where we were ran out of the building. We tried in the fourth quarter, and that was pretty much it. So, yeah. Not good. Just not good. If USC could go better than 10 for 17 on free throws, which was at one point 0 for 8 or something, they would have won this game by a lot more. And that's kind of where I think it is at this point. Yay, we went undefeated in non-con, but we faced 0 ranked teams and only about 1 good win, which was Virginia. They have 10 wins as of now, so I consider that good. They have the same record as USC, just not overly as impressive. But there has been some games that are not good. Especially the fact that we cannot stop Penn State for the life of us. The fact that Cal Baptist was basically just a worse talented version of us, and we struggled horrifically. The fact that we couldn't put away North Dakota State at a neutral venue. It all led up to kind of not good, not bad, just I feel like this is the most performance that you could get from a 12-1 team. And again, it'd be really nice to know whether Potts is back or not, or if she's going to play at all this year, because it is December 31st, 9 o'clock, almost 10 o'clock, and yet I have seen nothing by really anything. I have seen absolutely nothing that tells me whether Potts is back or not. Okay, there's just absolutely nothing. It just seems like she's not even there. It seems like that she's just not even, because she tore her ACL on November 19th, 2024. Now, obviously, surgery, and all. It takes usually 9 to 12 months to actually recover from an injury, but it's been over that, and yet we have heard nothing. Nada. We have heard nothing. There has been no talk of where she's at, what she might do. There's just been nothing. There's no news. Just nothing. Yeah, we sit here. At 12-1. We're still missing some of our better players. And I don't feel that confident. This feels like another 500 team. 500 team in the conference play, not like overall, but like 500 in conference, gets into the dance and doesn't really do much. It's nice that we got an undefeated, conference, a non-conference. That's good, That's always good to put on the resume. Didn't lose a non-con game. Beat most of them by at minimum 20, 30 points. Closest one was was 2 neutral site games. That's good on paper, but the team itself, that's just kind of where I feel. Will the team actually be able to, do better than what I expect? Yes, they can obviously do that. If Potts returns, if, a lot of the team cohesion gets, jumbled together, and if the schedule decides to be nice to us. What do you mean we got Iowa next? Yeah, we got Iowa next. This is it's not great per chance, but all of our ranked games are in clumps, and the rest of them are just void of Northwestern, who is won their first 6, has lost its last 7. Don't you dare say that fucking word. I will kill you. Not much. We just need to win one of the big games. One of the games we need to win. Any of these ranked games. Doesn't matter if they fall off afterwards. We need to win at least one of them. Iowa's the best chance, obviously, because it's our bitter rival. We play them twice. The other teams that we play twice are... who do we play twice? Wait. If I remember correctly, do we only play 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? Sorry, I'm doing mental math. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Do we only play 18 games? Right. We only play 18 conference games, so 20. Okay, so we only play Iowa twice, which, that's fine. We could play Iowa twice. That's fine. That's how we got one win against Caitlin Clark. But we just need to look a whole hell of a lot better than what I saw against any of those teams. Our biggest test is tomorrow, 1:00. Just please be ready. That's all I ask. Anyway, men's one probably comes out later. I might push that, at least upload to tomorrow. But yeah, see you guys later.